Well, greetings, gamers. This is Dr. Ayleen, the Gaming Doc, and this is your place and your space to chat, to chill, to hang out, to take a moment, to take a breath, to take a break, because we can all use a break sometimes, even when we are just beginning the week. And here we are again at Monday. We are at Make It Happen Monday. So here is where we open up the discussion about what you want to make happen this week. Pick one thing, one small thing, or one big thing. It's up to you. But choose one thing that you would like to make happen this week. And it's not that you have to complete the whole thing. Maybe what you want to make happen is starting to do something. Alex, lights up! Oh my gosh! Oh, folks, welcome. Alex, lights up. It is so good to see you, my dear. It is so good to have you here. I hope you're having a wonderful morning so far. We're up bright and early. And I hope that you are doing very well. And I hope you had a wonderful weekend. So, we are here to talk about what it takes to make something happen. And I had a very interesting discussion over the weekend with somebody who was having a very difficult time because, you know, there's some things that they need to take care of for their health. And they've got, you know, their doctor saying it's like, well, you know, you need to really buckle down and lose weight, and, you know, telling them what they have to do. And then their therapist is telling them all kinds of things they have to do, and their nutritionist is telling them all kinds of things that they have to do. And this person was really having a hard time with that, and really taking everything that was being said as another reason to beat themselves up. So I asked, you know, and I listened to them, and I said, so did any of these folks who are talking at you ask you what you wanted? Asked you what you were comfortable with? Asked you how you wanted to manage this process? And she said no. And I was, honestly, it didn't surprise me, but it was just, you know, it was hard. Because it's hard for me as, you know, as a person, as, you know, as a listener, as a doctor, when people who, you know, it's like, well, you need to stop being so stressed. Oh my gosh, you don't get somebody to stop being stressed just by telling them you need to stop being stressed, or by telling them what you believe they should do. Because, I mean, in my gentle opinion, Sheila Marcel! Folks, welcome, Sheila Marcel, one of our new Twitch affiliates, and someone who is just an absolutely awesome streamer. If you ever wanted to learn anything about diamond painting, or wanted to learn what diamond painting is at all, check out Sheila's stream. Go over there, give her a follow, and she also does an awesome job in gaming, and it is always so wonderful when Sheila comes in, because she just, you know, shares that wonderful, beautiful, open heart of hers, and, you know, and she really does go out of her way to help people feel better and to find ways for people to feel better. And, you know, if there's anybody who knows about working on making things happen, it's Sheila. So definitely go over and give her some love. Sheila, it's so good to have you here this morning. And, you know, because we're talking about that, and that I had talked to somebody who, you know, in my humble opinion, it's purely my opinion, doctors and therapists and everybody who works with people needs to remember they work for that person, that they are paid to give their best advice and their best opinion based on their level of expertise. And that ultimately it is that person who decides what to do with that information. And I think one of the biggest things that can be a problem is when people feel disempowered. It's very hard to deal with stress. It's very hard to deal with, you know, trying to get things done, trying to be motivated. You know, it's very hard to move out of depression when you feel your control and your power has been stripped from you. I'm a little upset today. I'm feeling down. Oh, Sheila, I'm so sorry. Oh, sweetie. You know, sending out those good thoughts for you, and you know, if there's anything you want to talk about, please feel free, and just know that in this space that you are appreciated and you are loved, and you are loved for exactly where you are right in this moment. That, whether you're feeling up or feeling down, whether, no matter what, we love you exactly the way you are. And you are special and you are needed. So in whatever space you're in, that is okie dokie with us, because we're here for you no matter what. So if this can be, a little space to, get silly or just to talk about things or whatever, you do so much for so many people. And, that's one of the things I really admire so much about you, is that you share all of yourself. And that's not something that's easy to do. And sometimes it can be hard to be honest with people about exactly where we're at. And, that's so important. A lot of people on Discord and Twitch are blocking me for messaging them privately about a GoFundMe a friend asked me to post for her and her family. Oh. Well, I mean, it's, I think blocking is a little bit extreme. I think it would be very reasonable that if that was something that they did not appreciate, if they could just say, it's like, well, I wish your friend luck, and I'm really, not into having that, posted for me or whatever. I mean, let's see, me and Spider 1000 MTG are trying to raise money for her and her family. Their house was ran into by a semi-truck, and now they're on the streets. You know what? I think they're blocking and banning me. Oh, sweetie, I'm so sorry. I mean, yes, ultimately everybody has the right to decide what they do with their streams. And I think that this is a perfect example of sometimes a conversation can do a whole lot to clear stuff up. A conversation with someone, and it doesn't have to be like, oh my God, I can't believe you did this, and da-da-da-da. It is, I think that it is definitely important for people to be able to just very calmly and say, well, you know what, I really don't want to, I would rather not get messages like this. I'm really not interested in participating, and I would appreciate it if you wouldn't post that. Oh my gosh, that would be a very simple statement, and, which, knowing you, Sheila, as much as I've gotten to know you, I'm sure that you would take that in good spirit. Let's see, but I'm sending the message in private DMs on Discord. Well, I mean, if it's private, it's just like, all they have to say is, no thank you. No is a complete answer, and no thank you is a polite, complete answer. And, I don't think that banning and blocking is necessarily, yes, instead of just being really mean to me. Oh, sweetie, I am so sorry. I really am. I'm sorry you're going through that, because I know how deeply you feel things. And understand that, your cause is really good. And, if you haven't sent it to me, I don't always go through like my DMs and stuff like that. I need to be better at catching up on that. But if you haven't sent it to me, please do so, and I'd be happy to help. I mean, it really is, about somebody just trying to do something nice. And sometimes that's not received well. And every person has their own reason for their reactions and how they respond to things. A conversation is really, really cool, because it can improve understanding. It can, if there's a miscommunication, it gets cleared up when we talk to people about it. And, if somebody has a major issue with somebody, then okay, you can, if it really is upsetting, you can let somebody know, and you can be able to, it is highly frustrating to me, and maybe because I'm old, maybe it is, you reach a certain age, and it's like, oh, for the love of God, just talk to each other. And like I said, everybody has the right to, respond to things in the way that they feel works for them. And I do think that sometimes, there are people who do take advantage of stuff and who do, kind of, make a thing of either spamming or whatever. I mean, there's the whole spectrum. And when somebody is, I sent it to you on a DM last night on Discord. Okay, I will definitely look for it. Well, it's sort of like, with the self-promotion idea, and, and everybody holds that differently. I have no problem with self-promotion. I am happy to let people, say what they're happy about. And that if they, if they are proud of something, and you should be proud of participating in this. And, definitely much love to Spider for working on this. Asteria! Yay! Oh, and the good morning has gotten even gooder. Asteria, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. I'm so happy to see your name. You always add such cool, stuff to the stream, and, and it's so nice. I am doing very well, thank you, and I hope you are doing the same. I hope things are wonderful. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Friends, Romans, and countrymen, lend me your ears and lend me your follows to go. One of the prime, and I am going to say it, Jay Stenzi, prime, nice, amazing, wonderful, awesome, just the world is a brighter place because Jay Stunzi is in it. He is, without a doubt, one of my absolute favorite people on this entire platform. He is supportive. He is amazing. I know he's going to say I'm lying. I know it, but I challenge anyone who is not true. I challenge anyone to go and watch Jason Z, stream, listen to the way that he is so entertaining. He talks to people, he listens to people, he is, and the amount of help that he gives to other streamers, no one wants to do that. Everybody wants to do that. I dare anybody to do that. Jason Z, I'm telling you, she just likes it when I yell, I hate this fucking game. Yes, I do. It is, and yes, I almost said that this weekend at the, I actually came close to saying it, Jay, with Untitled Goose Game. I came like this close to saying that, but, I held. At some point, I may say it at a game, and if I do, I will clip it and I will send it to you. Oh, what's the hot drink of today? Today's hot beverage. Oh, Sheila, thank you for reminding me. Score. Today's hot drink is coffee. Actually, it's not coffee, and I meant to grab the box, but it is a mushroom coffee that someone recommended to me. They said, well, why don't you try this? And it is, supposedly, it tastes like coffee, but it is made out of mushrooms. So it's different, and so I took it up a notch and bulletproofed it. Okay, it sort of tastes like coffee. It doesn't taste like mushrooms, and the butter actually goes better with this than with regular coffee, so I think I'm going to kind of like this. So, but yeah, it actually tastes pretty good. Score. Yep, at some point I will channel Jay Stunzi and say I hate this effing game. So and I will see about making that viral when the gaming doc does a swore. But Jay Stunzi, I hope you're doing well. I hope you are doing awesome, my friend. It's a Monday morning, so I'm guessing you're probably on a break from work. And if and also Jay Stunzi, who is a part of the amazing community, the Nameless Family. If you guys don't know anything about the Nameless Family, the blurb comes up, and it is just an awesome community of people who just support and who help out one another. And yeah, they do have, you gotta meet that, requirement. They do want a certain level of activity, but, that's just really to make sure that the people who are in there really are doing what they can do to, both grow as a person and grow as a member of the community and help grow the community. Off today, work tomorrow, and off Wednesday and Thursday. Start summer school Friday. Oh, wow. Oh boy, transporting kids who really are not crazy about going anywhere. My thoughts, I will light a candle for you, JJ. For kids being stuck in summer school. They're probably not the happiest individuals. But yeah, it is, a wonderful community. And one of my favorite parts is how, they not only, keep an eye on each other to make sure that, folks are doing what they need to do. There is accountability, but there is just such amazing support. So if you want to learn, oh, yesterday was a very rough day. Oh, Jay, I'm sorry. I mean, if you want to talk about it here, if you want to talk about it, after the stream, Odson's 41 Gaming with the Wings. It is so good to have you here. Oh my gosh, folks, y'all need to go and give Odsense a follow. Odsense is, I was hanging out yesterday. Was it yesterday or Saturday? Oh God, the weekend just blurred all together. Anyway, I had a chance to check out Odsense's stream. I went over there and hung out for a bit, and it was, I think it was Saturday. I don't know. I had a whole lot of Bean Boozled Beans. Looking at you, Jay. But thank you, sir. So, I'm still coming down off of a Bean Boozled Bean rush. Lord Meteora! Oh my gosh! Folks, you need to meet one of the busiest guys outside of Hollywood. Lord Meteora, who is going around to different conventions, and he does amazing crafting, and, go follow him, go to his Discord, check out where he's going to be, because he lists where he's going to be, and he is just so cool. And so go, if you're in the area where he is, definitely go and check him out, and give him a great big old hello from the Gaming Doc. And Lord Meteora, and where are you this week, my friend? I just finished in Casper, Wyoming. Ooh, I was in Casper once. There's something about the Casper, Wyoming has, I think it has to be the world's smallest international airport. I mean, everybody there is very nice, but they have 2 gates, a total of 2, one incoming, one outgoing. And I was standing because I was flying out. And so I'm at the Casper International Airport. And so a security guy was standing there, and he goes, excuse me, you need to be you can't be this close to the gate, because of requirements. And I go, oh, okay. And he goes, well, that's okay. Just walk 3 feet. And so I did. And he goes, okay, you're good. And so after a while, he was sitting there looking, and he goes, ma'am? And I go, yeah? And nobody else was in there. He goes, can you do me a favor? And I'm like, sure. And he said, can you stand here for a second? Because I got to go to the bathroom. So it's like for about, almost 5 minutes, I was in charge of security at the Casper, Wyoming International Airport. Oh my gosh, but they were very nice. Yes, mushroom coffee. It is coffee made of mushrooms. And I did mean to bring the box, because actually this is good. Okay. I almost never get to use my Be Right Back screen, but hold on. I'm going to go get the box. Hold on. Wow, I am so glad that I used that screen, because then you guys did not see me like walking towards and then yank myself back because of the headphones. Anyway, it is Mount Hagen Instant Organic Fair Trade Instant Coffee, and it is made of mushrooms. And it is interesting. It's got an interesting taste to it. So, I mean, not sponsored, but I'm just a fan. Sensual music video of Discord. Oh, wow. Sent. Okay. Weird. Lol. But anyway, it tastes like coffee. And the fact that it's fair trade is really cool. And it actually goes better with butter, so it actually makes a better bulletproof coffee. Hey, gotta be willing to try new things. Hey, maybe that's what you can make happen this week. If this is Make It Happen Monday, make happen trying one new thing. One, just one. Because in making things happen, it's not about, you know, some big earth-changing thing. Your life can be totally changed by the teeniest, tiniest shift in any one thing. And, you know, that's something that I encourage people. And, you know, at the beginning of the stream, I was talking about a woman who, you know, was being told, you know, you ever play Roller Coaster Tycoon? I have not, but I've seen it. It looks like it would be interesting. You know, I haven't tried any of it's like oh, and there's Luna. Hey, Luna. I've never tried, and I've never played Sims. I've never played any of the Sims games, which, you know, people's like, oh, how could you never have played Sims? But yeah, I've heard of Roller Coaster Tycoon. Maybe I'll give it do you recommend it? I mean, hey, this is a wonderful place for game recommendations. So, you know, I've watched a few streamers play it, and it looks like it would be intriguing. And considering that I worked at an amusement park, yeah, there were times when I wondered, gee, you know, if I were running this park, this is what I would do. So actually, I hadn't thought about that in years. I used to work at when Great America, which originally was Marriott's Great America, in the Silicon Valley here in California. It opened in 1976, and I got my first job there when I turned 16 in 1977. If you're looking for relaxation, yes. If you're looking for a headache and needy customers, maybe. Oh my gosh, working at an amusement park, I remember the needy customers. I remember, you know, and I worked in the games department, so I was one of those people trying to convince people to spend even more money. But it was fun, and, you know, we used to have such a good time. I mean, I went there a few years ago, and it was just like, you know, I walked through my old games section, and people are just kind of standing there and leaning and looking at each other, or, you know, just kind of talking. I mean, we were always talking to the, you know, people walking by. It's like, hey, you, come on, don't you want this bear? And then, you know, we'd have competitions, like for the next hour, see which game could make the most money, and then they'd win a prize. And we even had basically a senior prom, which was so cool. Once a year, you know, the department would rent like a ballroom or something, and we'd all rent tuxes, and of course everybody was into, okay, how many of you remember burgundy tuxedos? Burgundy or baby blue tuxedos. You know, if you remember those, then, well, you're probably almost as old as I am. Or you used to watch that 70s show. I go to the fair to watch the game section. Oh my gosh. I mean, you know, we used to just have all kinds of fun. I mean, you'd learn to juggle. We would sit and juggle things. Whatever was in your game, you had to learn how to juggle. So it was a lot of fun. But oh yes, it was a different time. But yeah, we worked and then when we would, if you worked early, then you would go back around into the park and hang out the rest of the day. And you always wanted to make friends with someone in the foods department, because then you got free food. Whatever she is saying is a lie. Kidding. Yeah. Hey, when I say I am old, no lie. But it was a lot of fun. Yeah, Jace Dunsey. Oh wow, I'm picturing Jace Dunsey in a burgundy or baby blue tuxedo. And it is such an adorable image. It's like, oh, I just had this mental image of Jace Dunsey and like this total senior prom tux. That will never happen. Oh, no. Okay. Next TwitchCon, they should have like a senior ball event where everybody gets to go find, like whatever was in style at their senior ball. Oh my God, that would be such a cool event. I will suggest that. Oh my gosh. Or maybe, a nameless family senior ball. Oh, that would be so cool. Oh, Jay, I would love to see you in a burgundy tux. That would be awesome. Oh my gosh, if we were to do that, if we were to have a nameless family senior ball. Nope. Oh, it's happening. It's happening, dude. It is so happening. I am... Because, at the point when TwitchCon can happen again, we should all get together and celebrate it. And, for those who can make it, for those who can't, can be in their own senior ball outfits on Zoom. And it is, oh, come on. That would be so fun. And all the girls wearing corsages and the guys can wear corsages if they want. Oh, come on, Jay. Come on. Get on board. Fun. I think that would be really fun. It's, I guess because it's like I'm coming up on my, I just passed my 10, 20, 30. It would have been my 40th. 2020 would have been my 40-year high school reunion. So I hate dressing up. It's bad enough I have to wear a button-down and dress pants for work. Oh, but Jay, the burgundy tux with the ruffles, it would look so good on you. And the cummerbund. See, Sheila's on board. Sometimes I think that grown-ups... Does that fall somewhere between hell no, F no, and hell no? Oh, I think it would be adorable. Oh, and then we could take prom pictures. Oh, that would be so cool. That's it. I'm suggesting it. I am going to suggest it. Okay, I'm out. No, you're not, because then you could be prom king. We could get you a crown. Okay, that's it. We're voting Jace Dunsey prom king. That's happening. Gifted a sub. But see, there's only 2 more days to do this, so you know what? Fine. 3 spicy beans and shush. Oh. Thank you. What, you're thanking Jay or thanking me? Okay, there we go. What have we got here? We definitely got a jalapeno. We possibly have a Carolina Reaper, and I think sriracha. All right. We've got the heavy whipping cream. Not sponsored, just a fan. 3 Reapers, let's go. Well, guys, I'm going to step out of here. I'm going to go hang out with my son for a little bit. Oh, mwah. Oh, I'm so glad you get to hang out with your son. That is awesome. Otsens gives a sub at 2 Otsens. Now, one thing I did learn from the weekend, other than an endorphin rush is amazing, is that you do not put 15 in your mouth. My son says, hi, chat. Hi, Lord Meteor's son. That you do not put 15 beans in their mouth at the same time because it takes forever to chew. All right. Oh, goody. We've got 2 more Carolina Reapers and another jalapeno. All right. Here we go. Thank you, Jay. I don't care how many beans you make me eat. You are an amazing guy, and I adore you. And 3 Reapers. Yes, we do have 3 Reapers in one thing. And let's go. Alrighty. YOLO. Monday. Make it happen. Oh, the Reapers kick in right away. It's like they look at the jalapeno and say, hold my beer. Takes forever to chew. Oh, goody. Oh, the first ones are always so exciting. Ah! Clean Dirt 33! Welcome, welcome, welcome! Oh, we're doing this! Yes, yes, okay, I ate it. I downed it. Clean Dirt 33, everybody. Go check out Clean Dirt 33, a wonderful friend to the stream, who is an absolute sweetheart, and who is just okay, hold on a second, because my brain is fogging up. Oh, that's better. You suffer now. No cream. What do you mean no cream? Hey, I never agreed to no cream. I chew it up. It's not done. It's not done. Oh, yeah, AdSense. Thank you so much. Following Clean Dirt. That is so cool. Okay, is this over the Burgundy Tux? All right, if this is about the Burgundy Tux, I swear, Jay, we need to make you prom king. All right. Silver Architect! Yay! Hey, little miss. Maz and Chats, hope you're surviving. Sis and Chat is good. Chat is awesome. Thank you. My nameless family who is doing 7 Days to Die, who I still have to try to get into that game. Don't make me do it again. And I do have a right to cream. Silver Architect, do it, Jay? See, and the thing is, the only reason he's doing this is because I want Nameless Family at the next TwitchCon to hold a senior prom, and Jay needs to wear a burgundy tux with a cummerbund and be prom king. I mean, what is wrong with that? I think that we should have a prom. How many times I'm tempted to make you do 2 spicy and 1 normal at the same time? Hey, it's random, buddy. I didn't even put a thing. Actually, oh, you know what? If I had put something down where for a certain number you get to pick which beans I have. Oh, well, maybe I'll do that for the Bean Boozled Beans. But yeah, if I didn't even put that down. No, 2 spicy beans and 1. Oh, 2 spicy and 1 normal? Oh my god, so that means I could get something nasty and hot at the same time? Oh, my nose is ready. My nose is ready and I got a nose rig. This is odd. Spicy stink bug. Oh. I do not even know how many subs you would need to put down for me to be willing to do that. Oh man, I mean, for people who have had a nose ring, please tell me how long it takes before it stops being uncomfortable to blow your nose, because frankly, this is like a whole nother piece to this that, you know, I mean, it 1 week ago today I got a nose ring. Spicy stink bug. Actually, you know what, Jay Stunzy, you know what, let coming close. Okay, you have been such an amazing support for me. You have been so generous and so amazing. So you know what? We're doing this. Okay, that's not stink bug. That's not stink bug. Okay, that's stink bug. All right. Jay Stunzy, because he has been so wonderful, so awesome. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And you know what? Okay, on my birthday in August, I'm doing the little nitro. Jay Stunzy, I will make a bet with you that if I can go, say, eat that and go 3 minutes without going for the cream, that you will support having a senior ball and you will run for prom king. I would, it better be a stink bug, lol. That's true. It could just be toasted coconut. But toasted coconut with too spicy. Okay, we're doing this. But no, I want to have a bet with you. I want to have a bet with you. No burgundy tux, but it would look so good. Oh, it would bring out your eyes. But if you do, I'll support it. Yes, yes. All right, here we go for Jay Stunzy. And no matter how much he tells me that I'm a liar, he's a wonderful person. So this is for you, Jay, for all the amazing support. Oh, it's not marshmallow. Oh, God. Oh, it's hot. Ah. Oh. Oh, mistakes were made. Oh, these are two things that should not be happening in any human mouth. Oh. Oh, it's a hot stink bug. All right, I concede. I concede. Oh, my God. Oh. And the thing is, the heat is not the worst part of this. Oh. Ah. Oh, cream and stink bug. Ah. Victory, yes, yes. You take your victory lap. I give it to you. Oh, God. Cream and stink bug. Hot stink bug. Oh, it's stuck in my teeth. And I'm going to burp this later and remember it. Oh, God. Worth it. Ah. For you, Jay. Oh, my God. Oh, that was so unpleasant. Oh. Sent you a cute photo that makes my girlfriend look smaller. Oh, my gosh. But you know, the weird thing is, the stink bug, like I said, that was actually almost worse than the heat. But it's like, in some ways, I think it actually is cutting the heat faster. But so not worth it. So not worth it. Oh, Oxens has redeemed. Just in time. There's 2 more days. 2 more days. Okay. And for those of you who don't know what that's all about, on July 1st, I will be doing a giveaway. And every 3 months, I do a giveaway. Still stinging and nasty. Anyway, and so for 4,000 channel points, you get your name on the wheel. And this time, what we are giving away is a set that has a key for gaming, keyboard, headphones, a mouse, and a mouse pad. So this is going to be going out to somebody. Oh, I burped up a little bit and came back up. Oh, stink bug, the gift that keeps on giving. That is so unpleasant. Your girlfriend, a teeny tiny girlfriend on a great big couch. Oh my gosh. That is so cool. You look so cute together. Am I really a wonderful person? Oh, I'm going to be reliving that for a little bit. Oh, God. I mean, it really, that should not go on in any human mouth, ever. So, but, you know, it was an interesting sensation. So, victory! Oh my gosh. Well, hey, it's Make It Happen Monday, so trying some... Hey, I said that people should try something different that they've never tried before. I've never tried that. Don't think I'll be trying it again, because that is kind of nasty. I mean, how do you create a flavor stink bug unless somebody has actually eaten a stink bug? Is there somebody who is locked up in a dungeon in this company and they are being forced? It's like, okay, try this. We need to know what it tastes like. Ah! Am I really a wonderful person? I will still say yes. But, you know, it's all for the fun of it. It's all for the joy of it. Please, you know, I had people comment, you know, send me, it's like, oh, you shouldn't hurt yourself. I'm not hurting myself. Honestly, I am a fan of spicy food. I do know spice burns twice firsthand. But it is okay. I'm not damaging myself. I'm hurting myself just a little bit, but I'm not damaging myself. Bloodshard! Folks, Bloodshard in the house. Go! And if you have not followed Bloodshard, you need to follow Bloodshard, who is the creator and the bearer of probably some of the most equally creepy and cute sort of, you know, Meat Boy, Cthulhu, Dark Souls kind of emotes, and yet in some ways they're kind of cute. Bloodshard, I hope you are doing well. J Stun Z has been suggesting some very cruel things, only because I want to see him in a burgundy tux. Why is that so horrible? But, you know, it's just about making stuff happen, and I want to make a senior prom happen for the Nameless family. So, okay, mushroom coffee with butter in it does help take some of the taste out of my mouth. I just wish that I had like like one of the blue ones, because it's either blueberry or toothpaste, and in either case, it helps. But I hope you're doing well, Bloodshard. I hope you're, you know, having a good time. And also, if anybody is going to be streaming or whatever, please feel free to shout out your streams. If, you know, you hit 80 subs on YouTube? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Everybody needs to go over, not follow Bloodshard, then follow the link to the YouTube page. Go and give the YouTube page some love. Oh, I tasted it again. Oh, God. Clockwork Toad for the raid today. Ooh, who's Clockwork Toad? Oh, pardon me. I'm just having a moment. Anyway, so, yeah, love the fact. Thank you for sharing that, Bloodshard, and definitely, because, I mean, subs on YouTube are like follows on Twitch, but they really, really help out and help a channel move forward. So please, please, please go over and, you know, check out some of us or Bloodshard's videos. Papa Merritt, are you late? Well, you're like a wizard. You are neither late nor early. You arrive exactly when you meant to, although you are late for some very, very interesting things, including finding out what it tastes like to have 2 Carolina Reapers and a stink bug. That is and I fully understand that I had like an amazing run where all I was getting was the good beans, and so now pretty much there's nothing but the badness left in this can. So I am not encouraged by the fact that okay, well, you know what, Oddson's, Why not? So, yeah, tell us a little bit about Clockwork Toad. What do they do? What do they stream? What are they streaming? It makes my nose red. Spice and stick bug makes my nose run. Ow. Nose piercing. Seriously, suggestions for that would be appreciated. But yeah, you know, it's so cool when we get to help other streamers out, when we get to help out people, when we get to, you know, because it can be very easy to get discouraged. Met him the other day, starting out streamer, was playing Ratchet and Clank. Oh my gosh, I remember that game. Since probably I had in my Discord. I wasn't very active on YouTube. Now I'm finally getting back into more uploading. Oh my god, Lieutenant Dan's legs! Yay! Lieutenant Dan is back! Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness! Lieutenant Dan, who I consider my personal Dale Earnhardt Jr. of Zombie NASCAR, who is playing Call of Duty, Black Ops, Cold War, one of my nameless family, who has been out riding around on a motorcycle all over, you know, hither and yon and back again. Are you back from your ride? Oh my gosh. Dude, you need to do a stream and tell us all about it. Traveled 5,600 miles on my trip. Oh, that is so epic. That is like, you know, okay, you know, that's like a boomer dream, because we all grew up when, you know, it's like, you know, there was an old movie called, you know, The Easy Rider, and you know, all the movies about motorcycles and traveling across country. And oh my god, that must have been so amazing. Dude, let us know, when are you streaming next? Because I seriously want to be in on that, so you can talk about your trip, and it must have been just amazing. Last thing I streamed was a podcast. Yes, you did, and awesome job. You know, I went and watched the video of it. You did really good. But oh my god, Lieutenant Dan, and I'm so glad that you're back safely. I'm telling you, your new theme song is going to be Johnny Cash singing "I've Been Everywhere." So, you know, oh, that you should attach that to like your channel, because you have literally, with that clocking in that kind of mileage, you have literally been everywhere. Following Lieutenant Dan's legs, love your name. I'm ready to leave my girlfriend for 9 days. Oh, it's rough. It's rough to be parted. Was a bit warm going through Vegas on my way out. 104 degrees in Vegas. Just asking girlfriend about how long nose piercing's healing time. She has a small one. Yeah, ask her about blowing your nose. You know, let me know about that. Inquiring minds want to know. But, you know, it is so cool, you know, and like I said, Dan, I'm so happy that you're back and that you're safe and sound, and I already have. Oh, okay. So, you know, it's how does it get in my nose? How does stink bug actually get up in my sinuses? Oh, the gift that keeps on giving. Just waiting on the replies. You just got back from work, though. Oh, well, let her settle down. Still cleaning the bug off, the bugs off the bike. Oh my goodness. And especially like driving in the South, they have these like little bugs. When I was living in Louisiana, they had these little black bugs that would hit your windshield, and it would like be this little tiny blood splatter. I mean, you know, okay, for those of you who are grossed out by that sort of thing. But then again, I just ate a stink bug flavored bean, so, you know, we're there. But yeah, you know, they had these, and, you know, when I lived down there, it was just constantly cleaning the windshield. But yeah, it is, oh, I'll bet that was just so amazing. I mean, that's like stuff out of a movie. But we definitely want to hear all about it. I really hope that when you stream, you're going to talk about it, because, you know, that would be just amazing. Stink hot bug for the win. Oh, yeah, I did. I I did 2 Carolina Reapers and a stink bug for Jace Dunsey because he has been so amazing. And oh, mistakes were made. I mean, and it could have been a toasted marshmallow, but it was not. And that mixed with the heat of a Carolina Reaper, it just took the nastiness to a whole new level. And because of the flavor, the cream tasted nasty. So, but hey, all for the fun. But, you know, it is, and then I burped a little bit and it was like, oh, it's back. But I mean, that's the thing with the nasty bean boozled beans. Like I said, it is the gift that keeps on giving for the whole rest of the day, because you think you're done, you think it's gone, it's not in your teeth anymore, and then it's like you burp or you hiccup, and it's like, oh, we're reliving it. Overall, there were less bugs this year from last year. polish I'm using kept the bugs from sticking to the paint. Well, I say that whatever works. But that just sounds like such an awesome adventure. I mean, you know, you want to talk about making something happen, making something amazing happen. Because, you know, for Lieutenant Dan to have an adventure like this, oh my gosh, we need more adventure in our lives because it's been so hard. I won't be streaming for a few days, 10-ish days, because I'm going to be with my family out in Georgia. Oh, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Georgia is very warm at this time of the year, which I'm sure you know. So just make sure you take care of yourself. Hydrate real well, and, you know, sunscreen. Use the sunscreen. But I'm sure you'll have an amazing time. And, you know, Georgia is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. I lived there for a few months. Yep, it is, you know, I almost lived there. My then husband, his company was transferring everybody to Georgia, and so we were going to live there. And then it's like we decided to, you know, we go down there, and the company's going to move us down there. They paid for the flights for not just the employees, but for the employees, their families. They paid for our rooms. They paid for a limousine to pick us up, all of us up at the airport. They wined us, they dined us, they arranged for realtors. They paid the fees for the realtors. They were going to say if you rented, you would they would pay your rent for a year, and all of this stuff. So all of these people, it's like, yep, they made the arrangements. And 2 days before the movers were supposed to come and pick up our stuff, they decided to just lay off everybody. And they laid off everybody who was already in Georgia. And some people had actually sold their houses and then found out that the company changed their mind and canceled the whole thing. And that sucked. And, you know, it's like, and there were like major lawsuits and stuff like that. Mexican, that ain't something I need. Oh, sweetie, you are wrong. Everybody. I need, you know, it's like I need sunscreen. Everybody needs sunscreen, because even if you have a higher melanin content in your skin, and, you know, and depending on how fair you are and all of that stuff, you know, the skin will react. And especially because of certain atmospheric things, you know, back in the day, they talked about the ozone layer and all of that. What gets through, and you can even need sunscreen on a cloudy day, because the rays that need to be blocked aren't blocked by clouds, okay? So the thing is that changes that happen in your skin, it's not just about a sunburn. So protecting your skin, people tell me that I don't look my age, that I don't look like I'm, you know, knocking on the doorstep of 60. And part of that is because I took very, very good care of my skin, even, you know, being as dark as I am. You know, I took care of my skin, so I want you to take care of yours, because otherwise the badness can happen. And I've known a lot of people who is like, oh, wow, they found this tiny little mole, and then it's something major. So always, 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 everybody, no matter where you are on the spectrum of pigmentation, everybody needs to use sunscreen to protect themselves, to keep themselves safe. Went as far east as Indiana. Have a great friend who has a house on a lake. Oh my God, that is so cool. It was so relaxing sitting on the screened-in porch, watching the boats go by. Yes, a screened-in porch so that you don't have to deal with the mosquitoes. But oh, that must have been amazing. That's not something my family uses. Well, from my oldest brother, he needs it. He's what, I mean, it is everybody. Everybody needs it. People don't realize, because the thing is that the damage is totally unnoticeable until it's noticeable. And by the time it's noticeable, and you see people who are like in their 40s and 50s who look a whole lot older because of, in a lot of ways, because of their, their sun exposure when they were young. So when you're young, that's the time to protect yourself the most, because, you want to make sure that, everything is taken care of. My shoulders are peeling bad right now. If you have shoulders that are peeling, that means that you need sunscreen, my friend. And remember, I'm not just an old boomer lady. I'm also a doctor. We know these things. We studied that in doctor school. Even as a chiropractor, we studied all that. I use SPF 110 on my trip. Smart dude. Very smart. Because especially being on a motorcycle and all of that stuff. And oh, I can only imagine being like in all the riding gear and how hot it gets. Oh, and Otsons, we'll be right back. We'll miss you. It's from when I went swimming with my girlfriend before she became my girlfriend. Yeah, see, so if you can get sunburn, if you can peel, that is skin damage. That's not just, oh, well, it's tender for now. That is damage, which you need to protect against. There's all kinds of stuff. You want to get an eye-opening thing. You Google, skin issues, and you'll see enough of those pictures to make you want to buy stock in sunscreen, because, and especially when you're young, that damage doesn't just go away. We've got to make sure that we take good care of ourselves. Make it happen. Make yourself safe. That is a good thing to make happen, because there's a reason that, things like, melanomas and stuff are as high a rate as they are. I'm gonna be going to South Carolina as well. Oh yeah, South Carolina South Carolina and North Carolina, both tremendously beautiful areas. There's a lot of very cool areas, and one of my favorite seasons, especially on the East Coast, is fall. I mean, fall is my favorite season anyway, but one of my favorite seasons is fall when I was living in the South, when I was visiting like North Carolina, South Carolina. I need to get up to like the upper East Coast. I want to go to like Maine and Maryland and and all of those places, because I hear the fall there is absolutely beautiful. I've never been to North Carolina. Mixel and Shen! Yay! Hello! Welcome! So glad to have you here. So glad to see your name this morning. Well, not always. They're having some major heat. During the summer it gets warm. Mixel and Shen, it is so nice to have you here. I hope everything's going well. I hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night. And welcome, welcome, welcome. And I hope that that you are enjoying yourself. I hope that the week is beginning well, because it is Make It Happen Monday. So what do you want to make happen? And that's the thing. It's not wait for something to happen Monday. It's not hope that something happens Monday. It's not, sit around and wait for somebody else to make it happen Monday. It is make it happen Monday, so that means make it happen for you. Pick one thing that you can do that you haven't done yet, that you always wanted to do. Dragon! Oh my gosh, Dragon in the house. We have not seen Dragon in a dog's age, and I definitely recommend that you go check Dragon out. Dragon, how are you, my friend? How are you doing? I hope that the beginning of summer has gone well, and, you know, did you always have that nugget hanging out of your nose? No, actually, see, this is what happens when you don't hang out, because, you know, then I go run amok. You know, there's no one to keep an eye on me, so then I go and do things like get my nose pierced. You can name me only Mixel, because Mixel Shen is a German name. Oh, okay, well, Mixel. So glad to have you here. And you know, it's very, very cool to, you know, have people from all over the place. I mean, that's like, and I always say, oh, this is one of my favorite things about Twitch. But honestly, one of my favorite things about Twitch is to be able to interact with so many people from so many different places with so many different perspectives. Everybody has their own unique life. And the fact that, you know, you come here and share it, that is just so cool. It is so neat. You know, oh, answer to Nose Stead in your DM. Thank you. Yes, I was wondering, it's like, okay, eating the spicy beans, which there's only 2 more days to make me eat spicy beans. Eating the spicy beans makes my nose run. But then I blow my nose, but I only got my nose pierced a week ago, so it's kind of uncomfortable. So I'm sure that, you know, thank you for the suggestion. Let's see. She said it is several weeks at least. Oh, okay. Well, then I will have to, maybe I can like blow my nose sideways. I don't know, but thank you, Silver Architect. Thank you to your girlfriend for the info. But yes, I mean, and it's funny, Dragon, when, you know, it's like, y'all weren't watching out for her, and now she's jamming crap through her nose. Shame on you. Oh my goodness. At least it's not a bull ring. That is true. No, we're not doing the ring, and, you know, and I don't want to do the pirate thing. But but yes. Well, it's like the amount of weight that I'm working on losing, and really it's not so much about weight loss, but about me feeling better and feeling healthier and having more energy. So I reached my 1/3 point for the amount that I'm planning on losing. And so at 1/3, it was getting a nose ring. At 2/3, I'm getting tattooed. And for when I reach my goal, then I'm going to do something with my hair. Either I'm going to get braids with extensions. I mean, either way, I'm getting extensions, but braids with extensions, or I'm going to dye my hair a really stunning color. I'm not sure if anyone told you, but shoving foreign objects into your body adds weight to it. Well, only a little bit. This is not much of a weight. Color it. Oh, we have 1 vote for color it. You know what? Maybe I will take that as a vote. Let's see, because hopefully, if I'm on schedule, I will hopefully reach my goal weight by right around my birthday. So that's going to be an exciting month. You know, if I can reach my goal weight by my birthday, that would be awesome. So I've decided that either Aaron the Healer! Yay! Oh, folks, friends, Romans, and countrymen, lend me your follows, and then go and give them to Aaron the Healer, who is absolutely awesome, who is an absolute sweetheart, who I am so happy to have here. Yay! Who has such an amazing and wonderful stream and commentary, and is like a great big old warm hug, you know, except when being an absolute badass in a first-person shooter. You have to forgive me. I'm highly against tattoos and piercings. Well, you know what? Then I will make sure I wear long sleeves for you. But yeah, you know, it was something that you know, ever since I was little, I was fascinated with, you know, something like that. I mean, and just like a little tiny nose twinkly. And yeah, and it didn't hurt anywhere near as much as I thought it would. And it's like I've had my ears pierced actually several times, but they always close up again. And I mean, like, I could keep the earring in religiously for a year, and as soon as one falls out, they would close up immediately. Question for you, Doc. My doctor wants me 16 stones from 24 stones. I lost 4.5 stones so far. I feel that if I lose another 4 stones, I feel like it's going to be underweight at that. Is it okay to be 18 stones instead? Well, I would say that it is, it really depends on, I mean, why your doctor wants you to lose that specific amount. I mean, sometimes there is this kind of, it's like this dependence on the body mass index, which has actually, I mean, and you're 6'6". Oh my God. That is, I mean, that is a lot of weight loss. It's classed as ideal weight. The thing is that for the body mass index, there's a lot that it doesn't take into account, and body frame is one of them. There have been like Olympic athletes, and I mean full-on Olympic athletes, who were deemed based on their BMI as obese, and they weren't. So, the thing is that it really, it depends. I think first off, and actually I'm glad you brought this up, because we started off the stream talking about someone who was being told things by, their doctor said, it's like, well, you have to lose weight and you have to cut your stress out and all this. And then another one saying, it's like, well, you have to eat differently and you have to do this. But the thing is that every person who sees a doctor, and all of my patients, I make sure they understand this. They are employing me. I work for them. And it is my job to give them the best advice that I know how to give based on my expertise. And at that point, it is up to that person what they choose to do. Patients have autonomy, and it is a requirement. This is a part of the Patient Bill of Rights. It is, it is vital for a patient to be able, because see, this is a part of informed consent, that you cannot do anything with a patient without their consent. And so that means that the patient has choice. And so if you are, if your doctor is recommending, and I would definitely recommend having a conversation saying, okay, why this specific amount? What is it that, that 24 stones as opposed to 18, what is the difference that will make? Why is it that they feel that would be, significant? And mainly, I would say probably if you go to 18 and you are feeling great, you are doing well, that, whatever, if it's a blood pressure issue or if it's a, blood sugar issue, if all of that is working at losing 18 stones, I think that that's fine. I think that, or to be, it's 16 stones for, okay. So, if you lose enough to get you to 18 and you are, comfortable, stick with that. I mean, honestly, if I lost the weight that, according to experts that I should be at for my height, I mean, I'm 5 foot nothing, and at my age, I'm only shrinking. It's soon I won't even be able to get on the cool rides at the amusement parks. But, I was told it's like, well, you should be 110 pounds. No, I shouldn't, because 110 pounds on me would be skeletal. That would, no, I'm going to go down to 135, which based on, things like my blood pressure and, certain health issues that came up, that is the weight when I know that I was not experiencing any of those things. So that is why that is my goal weight. And so being able to lose down to that, but to go down to 110, I don't think so. So let's see. All right, let's, I'm about 18 at 6'3", and I feel chunky. Yeah, well, and it's also about distribution. Guess what? And Jay Stunzy with his clip. To be precise, 16 stones for. No medical issues apart from knee issue. Okay, so anytime, well, I mean, we go in pounds. So for every 1 pound of weight that you lose 4 pounds of pressure on your knees. So by, going down to, to like 18, if you feel good at that, then that's what you trust. That's when you can be able to work that. I'm officially done with physical therapy. Yay! Oh, Aaron, I am so happy. And I'm sure that while it was not comfortable, I'm sure that, it was able to help you out a lot. But I am glad. I'm glad that you're done with that. Take one thing off of your already overloaded plate. I mean, you've got a plate, nothing. You've got a platter. And being able to take something off of that platter, I'm sure it feels really good. But I'm so glad you're able to be done with it. Thanks for the gift sub, Jay Stunzy. Well, Lieutenant Dan, he used it to torture me, so, although it was willing. Yeah, check out the clip. I am really a wonderful person. But, no, Jay Stunzy is absolutely amazing and wonderful and a sweetheart, and he keeps telling me I'm lying when I say that, and anybody who knows him, call out in the chat if I'm lying. If anybody is, a lot of these folks know Jay Stunzy. Anybody in the chat, you call me out. Other than Jay, call me out and tell me that I'm not telling the straight up truth, that Jay Stunzy is an amazing guy. 336 pounds at start. Now 268. That's amazing. That's in pounds for you. Oh, thank you. I mean, that is, and like I said, considering your height, 229, I would definitely have a conversation about that, because that does seem, because you've lost a really huge chunk of weight. And so you've already released a whole bunch of pressure on the knees. Oh, excuse me. Oh. See, even after all this time, I still get a trace of the stink bug bean when I burp. Let's see. 252 pounds is 18 stones. I think that would be, keep in mind that I do not have like a full profile or a full medical profile. I don't know what it is your doctor is looking at that they're concerned about. But I think that is definitely a conversation that you could have, that coming from 336 down to 252 is pretty awesome for someone who's 6'6". So in my mind, ultimately, I think it's about what feels right for you. They go by BMI. See, BMI is not, like I said, there are Olympic athletes who, based on their BMI, are considered obese. And that makes no sense whatsoever. BMI does not take, it does not take your body frame into account. It does not take your genetics into account. It does not take, it doesn't, there's a whole bunch that it does not take into account. And, I encourage people to go by different markers as opposed to the BMI. Because I just think that it has a tendency, like I said, it's like for me to be 110 pounds in order to not be obese. It's like, no, that doesn't make any kind of sense. Look at sumo wrestlers. They're freaking gigantic, but because of their diet and training, they're actually considered quite healthy individuals. It really is. There's a lot of like weightlifters and stuff. Their BMI would have them as morbidly obese. And yet, it is not a precise marker of the health level of that person. And also, because muscle weighs more than fat. Muscle weighs significantly more than fat. So that means, because it's denser, which means that it's like, at a certain point when you start losing muscle mass, yeah, or if you exercise and you're increasing your muscle mass, but you're dropping fat, yes, it's not going to appear that you're losing the weight. Also, something to consider if you're working on weight loss and you're doing all the fat burning stuff and you're not noticing like the belly's getting smaller, understand that the body will burn the fat around the organs first. So that means that you're not immediately going to see that first effect. So as the body burns fat, it's going to burn it around the organs because that's considered more vital. After that, then you're going to start seeing those physical changes, but it may take a while. So I was classed as at high risk for heart problems, and there's a family history of it, but nothing found yet. I mean, and yeah, family history has to be taken into account. And, I honestly believe that our bodies will tell us what we need. That our bodies, if we listen to them, and that rather than going by, it's like, okay, well, according to your height and according to your weight, you're obese. Well, there are other factors. And I think that ultimately it's about how we feel. If you're able to get up and you're able to move around, my health is significantly improved from when I started. And I'm using that actually more than I'm using the scale. I mean, the scale is just kind of like, okay, that's sort of monitoring in one aspect. But there are other things that I look at, which includes the difficulty that I had, getting up, like if I was getting up from a low seated position, how easily can I do like a knee squat? Being able to, like with both feet, jump up a step and then jump back down. That weight loss is over 2 years, nothing really fast. Yeah. And so the thing is, and slow weight loss is best weight loss, when you have it gradually, because sudden quick weight loss has a tendency to, one, trigger a bounce back reaction because the body thinks it's starving. And two, it's like you end up with that loose skin. When weight loss is gradual, when it's slow, you don't end up with that loose hanging skin because the skin has time to sort of contract in with the gradual weight loss. So, health is such a personal thing. And I encourage people not to surrender their authority to someone who has a white coat. As someone who, I don't wear my white coat because, it's like, I felt some people would react to it and it's like, oh, okay, she's got the doctor coat on, so that means that I have to surrender my authority. And there are some people who actually have difficulty having their blood pressure taken when the white coat is present because it will automatically raise their blood pressure. Want to see some fit sports people? Look at soccer players. Soccer players are very fit. Also got to be careful with diabetes and a lot of the family apart from me and my kids. Yeah. Well, it sounds like you may have come up with the DNA Yahtzee because, if it's in your family and you're not personally having issues with it, then that's a very, very cool thing. But it's important to be aware of that. And, just generally eat healthy, get at least some moderate exercise. And if there is a problem, then address the problem, that comes up and, just do your best to take good care of yourself. I snagged the diabetes. I don't recommend. Yeah. I have a lot of that in my family. I've got a lot of heart disease in my family. Out of both my parents have passed and my older sister and older brother have passed. And out of all of them, my mother is the only one who lived longer than I did, or that I am. My mom, she was 70 when she passed. And, but the rest, my dad died at 58. And my sister died at 34. And my older brother died at 59. And so, for me, it's, I was, my older brother passed a couple of years ago. Or actually, yeah, it was right when COVID started. So he passed at the beginning of 2020, or yeah, it was in February of 2020. And at his funeral, and my sons were sitting there and they're looking at me and they actually said, Mom, we want you around. Please take better care of yourself. because I was carrying around way too much weight and I was starting to have the health problems that go with it. And so I had to make a conscious choice. I know at some point I'm checking out, but I don't want to make that any sooner than it has to be. So that's why we take care of ourselves. Just tired of every 3 months blood test they have me on for diabetes. Yep. Diabetes check. I mean, yeah, you know, it is hard. And the fact that, you know, you're doing stuff and you are making excellent progress. I am so proud of you. You're doing amazing. And, you know, you keep doing what you're doing because, you know, ultimately it comes down to how do you feel? And when you feel like, you know what, this feels good, then you go on. Akamori! Yay! Akamori in the house. You know, my lovely little piano man who plays the pianos on his videos. He also does, he is a budding filmmaker and a writer. And, you know, how do you not hurt your hands clapping like that? I don't know. It's just awesome. Somebody said they were actually going to like do a clip and make like a little, like a meme or an emote of me doing like this. But it is just so fun. And it is my way of having my outside show how happy I am inside when I see folks coming in and saying hello. And, you know, and Akamori, I hope things are going well. And I hope you're doing really good. And I hope you're having a wonderful afternoon, I believe. And, you know, I hope you're making something happen. And it's not about, you know, trying to do, you know, everything. It's not about trying to build Rome in a day. It is about, even if it's just one step towards something that makes you happy, even if it's doing one thing that makes you happy, even if it's just trying one new simple thing that you hadn't tried before. I mean, you may not like it, but making one simple thing, doing one thing, it's like, wow, you know, that was different. Having an off day today. Oh, sorry. Having weird flashbacks, but it's stuff I forgot about. When I was 21, I was 18 stones with 90% muscle. Ooh, that's good. And rest was classed as fat, and I said to physician, you fat on me as a laugh. Yep. Hey, sounds like, you know, that's some good shape. Well, I'm sorry, Akamori, and sometimes when stuff comes back up, especially if it's something that we haven't thought about in a while, sometimes it comes back up because it's an opportunity for us to be able to work on it and to heal it and to think about it from that viewpoint of a little bit of distance from the original experience. And yes, you know, often when we have that flashback moment, it's as if the moment is happening right then. And then take a breath and go, okay, it's not happening right now, but I can look at it. I can view it almost like you're looking at a film. You know, picture it as if it's a movie that you're looking at. And then look for the little subtext, look for the meaning, look for the symbolism. I mean, you're a filmmaker, and maybe viewing some of these experiences as a movie through the eye of a filmmaker, because a filmmaker looks for the symbolism. A filmmaker looks at what is making this scene so powerful, which means you figure out what makes it so powerful for you. What is that thing that kind of pulls you in? It's stuff relating to the thing with my grandpa. Yeah, I haven't thought about some of the stuff in years. Yeah, you know, it is, you know, it often stuff does come back up. And that is a wonderful time to be able to talk about it. That if you know, can sit with someone and just kind of get it out of your own head and hash it out. And not just what happened, but what it creates inside of you, how it lives inside of you. And sometimes it means talking to a professional. Sometimes it means talking to somebody who is really, really trained. And sometimes it means just talking to a friend who knows how to listen, who isn't going to tell you or isn't going to try to fix you. And that's one of the things that people fall into, is when somebody tells them a problem, there's that desire, especially when you care about them, that you want to fix them. But sometimes they just need to talk it out to get it outside of their heads, so when it's in front of them, they can look at it. They can kind of explore it a little bit more. But, often people, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I believe that people have their own answers inside of them. They just need the right questions in order to reach it, and they need enough time to explore those questions, and then all of a sudden something will kick in, like, oh, wait a minute, I just thought of something, or, you know what, I think I know what I want to do. And, it is an exploration. It's about growth, because whatever this process brings you, it's going to bring you growth, and it's going to evolve a part of you. So, it's sad, and sometimes we just don't want to think about stuff. And sometimes the stuff says, oh no, you're going to think about me because it's time for us to get this settled. It's time for us to be able to put this to rest. So we're going to take a look at it. And that, hydrate. Yes, the mushroom coffee, because it is mushroom coffee, and butter, which actually tastes pretty good. But, whatever it is, this can be a really good thing, because it can allow you to take a breath and to look at it through a different eye, and look at what you're feeling. And if you need to, talk to somebody about that feeling. I would highly recommend it. Some people say it's like, well, I don't want to have therapy. I don't want to go into counseling. It's like, you know what? If your leg was broken, you'd probably go see a doctor. If your car wasn't working, you'd go see a mechanic. It's just that something is not working as good as it can. So that means you find the person who is the right person to do that. And while, you may know somebody who's good at putting on a splint or something, you wouldn't, if you had a broken leg, you wouldn't go to your mechanic to fix it. You'd go to the person trained to fix it. And maybe the person you speak to doesn't resonate with you. Maybe you don't feel that they can hear you. Well, then talk to somebody else. It's being able to be supported looks different for each and every person. But just know that you deserve to be supported. You deserve to be heard. You deserve to have somebody listen to you and let you kind of walk around the issue until you figure out, okay, this is what it means to me. And then you find your own answer. Let's see. Okay, everything in there is all right. I don't know why it pegged. It's not even the part about him dying. It's little sucky things leading up to it, like how he couldn't hold his drink, or how filthy his house was, or how I found that he had a tool shed and I thought to myself, was he actually ever well enough to use this stuff? Or how his door was always unlocked, or how his grass was always dead and easy to kick up. Yeah. Well, I disagree that it's meaningless, because these were all parts of who he was in your life, and who he was at that point in your life. And everything has a meaning. Everything, whatever you're going through, whatever you're feeling, it has a meaning. So from the sound of it, you're actually looking at the whole person, that and it might be good to speak to some people who knew him when he was young, because now it seems that for whatever reason, there's a part of you that wants to explore all of him, and that's a good thing. Totally agree with what Doc is saying. I've been there. I spent 5 years with severe depression. It took my girlfriend and my kids to get me to do something about it, and was grateful for their support, and it helped me a lot. Yeah, because it's there's a saying that you can't fix a problem with the same mind that created it, or I think that paraphrases it, or whatever. But the idea that sometimes we need somebody else to say, you know what, this needs help, and whatever help you need, we'll be here for you, and we support you. And This is something that, because sometimes we don't even realize how significant something is within us or that we're experiencing because it's all in here. But when somebody else notices, it's like when somebody notices, hey, are you okay? You're not looking really good. You look like something is stressing you out. Are you okay? When we didn't even realize that that's what we were projecting. Often we think we've got it handled. We think it's like, well, I can handle it just because we're used to it. And then when somebody else says, you're not okay, that can be one of the most powerful moments for anyone. And in any relationship, it could be a very powerful moment when somebody comes up to you and says, you're not okay. Or, it's like, well, how are you doing? I'm fine. No, you're not. Let's talk about it. So I think that all of these little memories and this stuff that's coming up, it's actually a good thing, because now you can be able to kind of process some of these things. And by getting the help that is available, getting the help that you need, whether it's whoever it is that can sit and listen and help you process, because often it's not about somebody else saying, it's like, okay, well, this is what you need to do in order to process this, or this is what it means. Ultimately, you get to decide what all of this means. It means something, but it's yours. You get to decide what it means and to explore it from that perspective. To think about both the light and shadow of your relationship with someone else, or even your relationship with yourself, because everything carries both light and shadow. And it's about finding that balance point. And like, Silver Architect said, it is, sometimes it does take other people coming in to be able to create that space for people to be able to work with what they need to work with, because you need a safe space to explore it and to be able to step into that third person view and to say, wow, okay, so I'm watching all of this. What do I want to do with it? How do I want to move forward with this? Yeah, like he was sick and he was a hoarder my whole life. Every time I went to his house, I knew the routine. Make sure he's on the couch and not the floor. Find his cat and all the trash to make sure it was alive. Get him his sodas and order a pizza. Step into the kitchen to take a deep breath so you don't fall apart, etc. Every single time. Oh, and Lord Meteora is back. Glad to have you back. Yeah, that is, and it is so important that you're sharing this. And first off, I'm very, very proud of you that you're sharing it. And I'm very honored by the fact that this is a safe place for you to be able to share this stuff. And anybody who reads that will be able to relate, because they've got somebody in their life maybe who is very similar to that. And then, they're going to go, it's like, oh man, I know, whether it's a grandparent, whether it's just an older friend, whether it's, whoever it is, to be able to, I remember when my mother, later on in her cancer, when it had spread into her brain, and it changed who she was. And, it was hard because my mom was my mom. And suddenly we had a role reversal, and I was going by her house every day. And it's like, okay, Mom, don't leave the paper towel roll next to the stove. Or, smelling something burning and wondering what the heck she had gotten into. Or, she was on a ton of pills, and I would sort out all her pills into the thing. It's like, okay, Mom, you just take this out when you have lunch. I'm going to call you at lunchtime. Take this pill, and it would take me so long to get it all sorted out. And then I'd come in the next day and she'd have them all out on the counter saying, oh, well, I'm organizing my pills. And it's like, oh, Mom, I just did this. I spent hours getting all of this done. And yeah, it's hard, and it's not their fault. It's not his fault, but every time I pulled into his driveway, I knew I would leave his house feeling so bad that I would have to wash my clothes, that I would probably break down in my room when I got home. Yes, sweetie. No, I get it. When someone goes through a change like that, and you have that frustrating thing of, it's like, you know what, I just don't want to go over there. I don't want to see it because I know what I see will upset me. And then you have that, no, they need me. I need to be there for them. So it is about finding that balance, because absolutely it's not their fault. It's nobody's fault. But being able to find balance with, it's like, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to be as helpful as I can. And see, and this is where bringing in other people, when it's not just you, and having a group of people, it's like, okay, so-and-so can go there on Mondays and check on them, so I don't have to go there on Monday. Even if it's just a couple of days a week, that somebody else can go and help to take the pressure off you. Because for me, I was, my brothers were not really involved. So I was it. It was me every single day going. It was me, and I was going through chiropractic college and studying for exams, but it was still, I had to be there, and I was the one. And there is a very important thing that I want people to kind of embrace. And if you can write this down and say it, if somebody is trying to, make you the only person, or if it's a situation, you need to remind yourself, I'm happy to be a part of the solution, but I can't be the only solution. And that is so important. I'm happy to be a part of the solution, but I can't be the only solution. Because when you are the only solution, that's where that pressure comes in. And that's where, because when you're watching somebody go through that, you need time to grieve, because there is a grief process that's going on with that. And if you can't have little gaps where you're not in it, that you can take a step back, that you can cry, or you can get mad, or whatever it is, that you have those little breaks. It's hard. And for anybody who is going through that, who is a caregiver, first off, bless your heart. And second, make sure that you are not the only solution. Other people can help. That was my depression, that I was at the weight at 336, and now with the help of a professional helping to work on things like having the right circle of friends that support you and be there if you feel bad and just need someone to chat to. Once I got in the right headspace with the great support, I feel better in myself, and that's when I decided to get fit and get me down to 268, so it does help. First off, I am so proud of you. I am so unbelievably proud of you. And, you are inspiring so many people by this journey that you're on, because people are seeing it. People are noticing it. And when one person does something, it can inspire, even if it just inspires one other person to say, you know what? I think I'm going to do that too. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to change one little thing and see if I can feel better. But it is, because there are so many levels. There's body, mind, and spirit. All of them get involved. And, there's a saying that a medicine man once told me, that the body will cry the tears that the eyes don't. And if we're not acknowledging what we're feeling, it's going to reflect in our bodies. It's going to become, or add to illness and discomfort in the body. Our bodies reflect that. Maybe it's stomach troubles. Maybe it's you start getting chronic headaches. Maybe you start having difficulty sleeping. But the body will always cry the tears that the eyes don't, which means that we have to acknowledge when we're going through something and get it out there, and either talk to somebody about it, have somebody just listen to us, or get help in figuring out what a better solution could be, or get ideas as to how to manage it. But being able to be authentic, that, you know what, I can't be there for that person today because I need to spend a day just taking care of myself. And whether that's crying or being mad or whatever. But having other people involved to support you will help you to be able to support others. It allowing ourselves to heal, giving ourselves permission to, yes, sometimes it is all about you. And that's a good thing. because we need to make it, every once in a while, we need to make it all about us. We need to make a point and make time for ourselves the way we would for somebody else. You know, if you're that person who, you know, when a friend calls, you don't even ask if they say they need you, you're up there and gone. You know, you're being there for them. You're listening to them. You're taking that call at 2 a.m. You can do that for you. You can make time for you because you deserve it. And, you know, and with Silver Architect doing, you know, such an amazing job, you know, of losing weight and of getting healthier, because it's not just about a number on a scale. It's about feeling better. You know, it's like, you know what? I feel better now than I did when I was over 200 pounds. And I know that this process is helping me to feel better each and every day. And I also know that, you know, there's some emotional pieces, because the reason that I got to be the weight that I was at was because there were emotional issues that I was trying to deal with food. So being able to not just work on lowering a number on a scale, this is about what will help me to feel better and manage my stress better and manage walking in this world in a gentler way, both with the world and with myself. So, you know, being able to have those moments, and, you know, in Akamori, this is a very, very good thing, because these are things that when you are able to explore them, then you can put them into perspective, accept and figure out what the wisdom in it was, that, you know, the gift for you in this, about who you are, and that, yes, it was a very, very hard thing to do what you did. And I'm very proud of you. And being able to find the lesson in that and then move forward. To be able to see your grandfather for all of who he was. Both the light and the shadow, for the good stuff and for the difficult stuff. To be able to appreciate him as a person, a whole person. And then be able to let go of what it was that were the hard parts, to be able to move forward. That is a wonderful thing. And as we grow, we learn how to, you know, to manage. How do we maintain balance in an unbalanced world? Because we can't control the world. We can only deal with the world inside of us. We can't control the world around us, but we can control the world within us. And that comes down to choice. And I always felt bad for that cat he had. Her name is Pamela, and she only liked him. She would snuggle with him, and she would bite others. And I had to make sure she was okay when I came. I wanted him to have his friend until the end, but there were so many pills and little things on the floor that it was a struggle to make sure the cat wouldn't accidentally eat something. Yeah. Oh, bless her heart. You know, and cats do, you know, sometimes they will just attach to one person, and that becomes their person. And they really don't have a whole lot of use for everyone else. But, you know, she sounds like she was sweet. And, you know, and animals grieve in their own way. And it may be that Pamela knew that his time was limited. And, you know, there's many stories about pets that, you know, just went and clung to somebody, and then it turned out the person passed, and then they just stayed there with that person. You know, where animals will, you know, go to the last place that a human was and, you know, just grieve. So, yeah, you know, Pamela may have been upset because, you know, she was going through all the things that you were. She was watching someone who she loved slowly slide away from them. And that's hard, even for an animal. You know, they have feelings. And being able to identify all of this stuff that you're talking about, and to acknowledge what you feel, to say, you know, you felt bad for the cat. Yeah. And in some ways, maybe part of why you felt so bad for the cat was because you identified with her. Having to witness that process and having no power to change it. And often that kind of is where things kind of, the rubber meets the road in whatever's happening. It's frustrating because we have no power to change it. We have no power to make it better. And I ended up memorizing little things. There was 4 water bottles in the fridge every time. He had every birthday card he got since he was 21 on the floor in a leaning pile. And that to get to the fridge, you had to make sure not to step on any papers. He had brown carpets throughout the whole house, and that he had a really old chicken toy that if you stepped on it would start singing Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash, and all those things that stick with me. I don't know why. Because they were a part of him and they're a part of you. And, often people continue. It means that they're not truly gone. They're never truly gone as long as they're remembered. As long as the little small things, and it's not so much the big things, it's the little small things that we remember. Someone's smile, or the laugh, or the fact that they ate their chicken with a knife and fork instead of just picking it up and eating it, or that particular song that they always liked, or that joke that they told over and over again even though it ceased being funny a long time ago. It's like, yeah, we all know the punchlines, the stories that get repeated, but these are very, very precious things that you're sharing. And being able to remember those things and reach a point where they can be looked at without as much emotion kicking in. I mean, there's always going to be emotion, and there is emotion, but it's different because time does change perceptions. It changes how we feel. And you're at a place in the recovery part of your grief because, this is all a part of grief. So these things are actually things that are a part of reaching acceptance. When we're able to look at the whole person, when, because sometimes it's like when somebody passes, it's like, no, you only talk about the good things and you only remember and you only think about the good things. And then it reaches a point where maybe you start thinking about those hard things and the things that were irritating and the things that were frustrating. And it's okay to be mad at somebody who passes because it's a part of the healing. And then you reach that point where all of that starts to equalize. And so you start seeing the cool stuff as well as the frustrating stuff. And this is a part of acceptance. And the fact that this stuff is kind of coming up for you now is a sign that you're moving into acceptance. You're moving into that place of peace where you view that person for all of who they were, which is who they were at the beginning of their life all the way through who they were at the end of it. And, and this is a very important and very sacred space that you're in. And for anybody else who's in that space, please be gentle with yourself, because this is coming up for a reason. This is coming up because it will ultimately serve you to move forward. And, it's important that when you have these moments, just stop and kind of honor it. Take a breath and just go, okay, this is a memory. It's like looking at pictures in a photo album. And what that photo means to you, that's what you're exploring right now. It's difficult to think of the good things, though. My dad only took me to see him when he was really sick, and I didn't know much about him, and there were so many sad things. Yeah. And there were, once you have time to sort of think about it, maybe it was just the way his eyes looked when he smiled, or how he said hello, or, whatever. And it really is hard when your only memory of someone is when they were sick. When my sister passed away, her daughter was only 6 years old. So her whole life, her mother was sick. She didn't know her mother the way I knew her mom, or even the way her older brother did when she was healthy. So that can be a very tricky thing to be able to manage. So, again, getting help with this, and this is the perfect time to speak with someone about it. Speak with, you can speak with a professional, you can speak with, if you are religious in any way, you can speak to, one of your religious leaders about it. Speak to somebody who can be able to listen, because now is a very, like I said, it's a very sacred point when you can be able to start processing what it was that was their relationship with you. And by the way, maybe talk to some different people. I mean, you could probably hear some stuff from your dad, but other members of the family who knew your grandfather when he was young, to find out who he was, because that will connect the dots. Sometimes in order to be able to reach acceptance with something, we need to connect the dots. So this may be a part of that for you. So I would suggest that, if your memories are mostly sad things, talk to people who had some happy memories. Talk to some people who can fill in those gaps so you can see him through their eyes. And, it can be a very moving thing to get to know him. You don't have to get to know somebody, just while they're alive. You can actually get to know them after they've passed. You can, it's like with all those birthday cards, you can read the birthday cards. There was a reason that he held on to them. And, looking at old pictures. And as I said, talking to people who have good memories of him. And, what it sounds like would help is to be able to counterbalance the sad by getting the whole picture of who your grandfather was. And often when that happens, we can be able to find peace. But, this is your journey, yours. The old boomer lady on a mountain isn't telling you, it's like, well, you need to do this and you need to do that. Do what feels right for you. Ask yourself, what do I need in this moment? What would help? Would knowing more help, or would just simply grieving help? Does thinking about it help, or does distracting myself help? Because ultimately this is your journey. And however you want to walk it, however you want to manage it, we're here for you. And, we'll give you that space to be able to manage that in a good way. But you're doing great. And I'm really proud of you. And it may seem overwhelming sometimes, or it may seem like you don't know what's going on or why things are happening. Just accept that you feel what you feel because you're feeling it. You don't have to find a deep meaning into it. Just be in that moment and see what it can teach you. See what it wants to show you. See how it wants to help you find balance again. There's a concept in the body called homeostasis, which is that, if your pH, say, in your body is off, your body will automatically change your respiration to correct it. If your heart rate goes up, measures will kick in that will bring it down. If your temperature goes up, there will be things to correct that. Our bodies are self-correcting constantly in order to maintain homeostasis, which is balance within the system. And I believe that our emotions do the same thing. That if there's something that is off balance, something will come in that will be a desire to correct. And homeostasis is something that is not permanent, because there's always going to be things, there's always going to be change, there's always going to be something to adapt to. So it is a constantly, shifting spot. It's just about for anybody who's ever stood on a wobble board, which is like a board with a half circle on the bottom and you're just trying to maintain balance on it. Yeah, you can reach that point where it's okay, I'm balanced, and then something's going to happen and it's going to tilt a little bit. So, reaching acceptance is just about finding balance in that moment. And then a memory comes up or something happens and we get new information that may tilt things a little bit. Well, then we work and we find that balance point again. So pretty much when I say that my goal is to help people find balance in an unbalanced world. It's about finding it and then figuring out how to find it again. Because there's always going to be something that's going to throw you off. There's always going to be something that comes up. There's always going to be that, drama or crisis or whatever. And it's there for us to learn from. It's there for us to grow from. And ultimately, it's going to happen anyway. So what we can make happen is figuring out ways to get the balance back. What are the tools that I have when drama hits or when a crisis hits or when something comes up so that I can keep my little eye of the storm and I can go back into my place of balance? It's not about staying in balance, because nobody's going to always stay in balance. Not even me. But it's about, what can I do when I recognize that something's off? How do I correct? How do I study it, learn from it, then let it go and move forward? Taking the lesson that I was meant to learn from it. So, it's difficult to think of the good things, though. So, Akamori, please, 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 know that you have support, that you have people who will listen, that, that what you're going through is a perfectly appropriate thing to go through. And it's actually very healthy. And it will allow you to explore that relationship and who your grandfather really was. So by finding those dots that you can connect, that information that you're lacking about who he was, and once you're able to embrace the whole person that he was, then you can be able to go, okay, now we can move forward. And all you have to take with you is love and the wisdom that you gained from that process as to how you want to live your life, how you want to walk in this world. If, the qualities that you want to carry and the qualities that you don't. It's okay. You're doing great. And just be gentle with yourself. So, sometimes when we talk about making something happen, make balance happen. Make authenticity happen. If you're being authentic with yourself, if you're being authentic with who you are and what you're feeling in that moment, explore it, because it's yours. It's your experience, and you have every right to it. And being able to walk gently with that, and having people who help you walk gently with that, because, as I say, life is fun until it isn't, and it sucks until it doesn't. And the trick is to figure out how to manage the sway in between. Because no matter how fun it is, at some point it's going to suck. And so no matter how much life sucks, at some point it's going to be fun. But accept that there is always change. That what you feel in any given moment isn't going to be what you feel tomorrow or next year or in the next second. Everything shifts. Everything changes. And it's being able to flow with that and not resist. It's sort of like, what they always say, if you get caught in an undertow, you're out in the water and you get caught in an undertow, you're not supposed to fight it. Go limp, hold your breath, because eventually you're going to get pulled out and you will be outside of the undertow. And then you just swim parallel to the shore, but don't try to fight it. Don't try to fight it swimming back through it, because all you'll do is exhaust yourself, and and that's where bad things happen. But by allowing it to flow, by letting it flow past you, by looking at it, doing your best to look at it from a third person, being a little bit detached, go into the left brain detachment, but then flow with it, and then just swim parallel to it, because it's there, but you're not in it. And then eventually you can come back into the shore. So I wish you every, blessing in what you're going through, because I do get it. No one knows exactly what you're going through, but there's a lot of people who have been through something similar. and so they can identify with it and they can support you. So hang in there. This is a very natural part of the process. It's a natural part of the grieving process. And like I said, you reach this when you're moving into acceptance. So hang in there. Know that we're there for you. And, you know, it is it. And you can't control it, and you shouldn't try to. Don't try to stop this, because it's a good thing. Alrighty, we have been at this for 2 hours. Oh my gosh. But it has been amazing and wonderful. And thank you everyone who has been, you know, participating and who has, you know, and who has shared just so much. And Silver Architect, thank you so much for that. And Akamore, you know, just proud of you, sweetheart. And, you know, and of course, J Stun Z, my pal, my buddy, and Dragon and Lieutenant Dan, and you know, thank you everybody, you know, who came in, and Bloodchard. And I also want to thank everybody hanging out in the Loving Lurkers Lounge. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for, you know, just being here. And I know you've got a lot of choices of streams you can be in, and the fact that you chose mine, I really appreciate that. And tomorrow, oh, important, tomorrow, it turns out a friend asked me if I could take them to the airport. The ride that they were going to have fell through, and so I got a call asking me to take somebody to an airport tomorrow morning. So I will not be streaming in the morning. I will be streaming actually in the evening. So so just be aware of that, and I will put out notices about that. I'll say it on Discord, I'll put it out on Twitter. My schedule changed, but just for tomorrow I will be streaming in the evening. I think I'm going to be streaming at 6 p.m. so East Coast 9 p.m. but it will be 6 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow, because I'm taking somebody to the airport. So so keep that in mind. And we only have 2 more days of Spicy Bean Boozled Beans. So if you wanna torment me, that's fine. And let's see. There was somebody who requested okay, let me scroll back here, because somebody had requested a raid to someone else. I gotta scroll all the way back up here. Who was it that here I am looking, it's like I can't remember the name. Go to Florida, shoulder. Wow, we had a lot of commenting today. I can't, if whoever it was, Clockwork Toad. Alrighty, let us see, hold on, let us check this out. Okay, so we will search Clockwork Toad. I don't even think I've ever heard of Clockwork Toad. Okay, alrighty. Let's see. Clockwork Toad, 7 followers.
All have a lovely weekend, Saturday and Sunday, whatever you
Oh, they're not streaming now. Okay. Well, we will definitely, you know what? I'm going to give Clockwork Toad a follow. And so that's Otsons had suggested that. So I'm going to give Clockwork Toad a follow, so that way I can find out when they're streaming again. So let's see who in my Nameless Family is on Everclear. Everclear is as doing Ranch Simulator. One of my wonderful Nameless Family. Okay, let's go all the way back down. Okay, so he's not live no more. Okay, you know what? But I gave him a follow, and we will definitely check out Clockwork Toad.
see what it's all about. But as I say, I hope you're.
But we are going to go and check in with Everclear, and we are going to, who is also, and as I said, please check out my wonderful nameless family, Everclear 01. And if you can, you know, come along on the raid, awesome. Otherwise, you're going to go on with your day. And so please remember to make something happen this week, even if it's a little thing. Remember how awesome you are. Remember that you are amazing. And most of all, please remember that you are the only you in all of the universe. You're the only you that has ever been and the only you that will ever be. And what that does is it makes you special, it makes you sacred, and most of all, it makes you necessary. Because as the only you in all of the universe wouldn't be the same or complete without you. So we're going to raid Everclear, and when we get there, in the lower left-hand corner where the logo is and underneath where it says live in red, click onto that, and then it'll say re-enter stream. And if you do that, then the raid will count, or the raid members will count towards Everclear's numbers. So because if you just go in on a raid, it doesn't count. So we want to be able to support the streams, and you know, someone who is as nice as Everclear, so we want to help build that up. And we are going to go hang out there. As I said, if you can come along on the raid, awesome. If not, have a wonderful day, morning, afternoon, evening, or night. And as always, I wish you balance and I wish you blessings from my heart to yours. So have a good day, learn something new. I'm proud of you, and I love you. Alrighty, so remember, tomorrow, streaming in the evening, and until then, bye.
And I ain't about